How big is this that Trump now questions Operations Warp Speed, which he has defended fervently over the last several years?
It's seismic. There was always an overarching tension between Secretary Kennedy, HHS, the Kennedy Maha people, and MAGA over Operation Warp Speed. And I think there was a lot of alignment actually between the MAGA base, who was extremely skeptical of the vaccines and of how the pandemic was handled, and President Trump, who over and over again kept saying was one of his signature achievements. Well, meanwhile, we're seeing significant excess deaths in Japan. We're seeing cancer rates up about 10% over average over pre-COVID in the United States. We're seeing these rare autoimmune disorders. And so for him to finally acknowledge and show a chink in the armor here on Operation Warp Speed, and we're beginning to see what the off-ramp looks like, I think this is the biggest, personally, because I'm so invested in MAHA and especially this mRNA technology. It's what led to my dismissal. That this is one of the most consequential transformations to monitor in the administration. It shows that the secretary has a very strong relationship with the president, and the runway that this gives HHS is huge. So I think that there is a real opportunity here to ultimately, hopefully, pull these shots off the market. And it also, we're getting close to this upcoming report on autism and what is the source and behind the autism epidemic, and then also this upcoming ACIP meeting. So apparently this all started with basically Dr. Retsef Levi, who I work with closely at HHS, and after my first couple of conversations with back in early mid-July, were like, man, this guy is the real deal, and he is hardcore, and he does not care what the opposition thinks of him. And Dr. Levi is really leading this charge as head of the vaccine subcommittee on ACIP. And he just started asking basic questions about, they submitted these questions to the CDC and said, we need to see the data on the vaccines, on the clinical trials, the safety data, adverse effects. We need to get access to the vaccine safety data system at CDC, which was supposed to become public, which has yet to become public. It's much more comprehensive than VAERS. And basically, they didn't want to be transparent, and they decided to run this opposition campaign through the mainstream media and all their lackeys against Secretary Kennedy. Now you've seen dozens of calls this past weekend, very coordinated, probably led by this biotech innovation organization called BIO, which I know there are several people at HHS currently that have gotten through that are working on behalf of that agenda. And there's several prominent people on the outside that are working on behalf of that agenda. So we are going to expose them. I know you wrote a very good Substack a couple weeks ago on this, but that's only the start. And the sunshine is going to be the best disinfectant, because these people have blood in their hands, and it's not President Trump's fault. He was misled by his advisors. But the truth is ultimately going to come out of what happened during COVID, and there's going to be a reckoning for these deadly vaccines that have killed hundreds of thousands and injured millions of people.